Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have the last of our green deck profiles for Fusion World, being our green androids. So we've already covered the Gohan and the Broly decks, so those you would have seen, and we got a different one in the android lead, and this one I can promise you will have a different look to the list, because it won't be the same like Saiyan ramp, because we got the android ramp. So before we get to the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel greatly because we're on our way to 1,000 subs still. And you can help out by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And by subscribing, it helps out the most, get us up to that 1,000. And you can also get alerts to when my videos do drop by clicking the notification bell, so then know to watch the videos there and then, or at a later time if you're not available, or not able to. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video and try and check out about green androids to see what it's going for. Because what we're trying to do for Fusion World at the moment is for the first, because we got the 12 different decks, because we got the 12 leaders, being the 8 in the main set, and then the 4 star decks, is to provide like a list for each of the leaders, so that way if you're looking for a base list to start, you can go out there, you got here or there, so you can get started, and then give it a try before then start tweaking it to your own, basically style of play, or your own, putting your own ratios and stuff. So you can either take this out straight from the go, or you can then get used to it and tweak it yourself. But it's like a good way to base start. So like we normally do, we're going to start off with the lead. So we're going to check out because we use Deck Planet, best deck builder for any Dragon Ball Super card game, with a really easy to use and useful interface. You'll be able to use it to build your decks, or even just browse the cards for the game. And for this leader, it's quite a nice one. It's just like Gohan, where it's got basically it's a draw leader. So green is the only color that doesn't have a crit lead. I don't know why that is, but it's the only one that doesn't have it. So it doesn't have a leader that's kind of already negative and not being able to gain cards, especially in a color that wants a ramp, like finding a certain cards to do the ramp. Maybe that's the reason why. And just like Gohan, like we said, what we're trying to say, Android 17 here gets drawn both sides. So on both sides, it's got one attacking effect. You draw a card. So when its card attacks, you draw a card, gain some advantage. And just like Gohan and most of the leaders in the game currently, he's got the standard awakening of when you less at 4 less, you draw a card and then flip this card over. So very easy way to very easy awakening, just 4 less, flip over, become stronger, gain an extra card, and have a more beneficial effect. And while both Broly and Gohan can get the beneficial effect early, for androids, they need to hit a certain energy threshold, which makes sense in a ramp color. And the Android 17, the nice thing as well when it flips over is it just goes from being a single character to 2 characters, which is cool. It's the first one we had in the game from the first set that goes from 1 character to 2 characters, going from Android 17 to Android 17 and 18. And its effect is a permanent, where during your turn, if you have 6 or more energy, it gains extra 10k power, so it's swinging at 30k, and that's perfect, really. Because 30k is a great way to swing at Awakened Leaders, because by swinging 10k higher than the base leader, being 20k, you're then making it so they've got 4 different choices. They either use a super combo, which you only have 4 of, to out-combo it as easy as possible. They either use an energy to use a battle trick, which they might not have wanted to use, or at least that way it's not a battle trick used on you offensively. They either take the hit, which they might want to do in some situations when they're at low life, or they use two or more cards that come out of it, being a 10k at the very least and a never card, meaning you're depleting their resources. So while normally you would have to combo a 10k with your lead from most ever leader to go 30k, this has it built in to make sure your opponent's using more resources to out combo or take it. So quite a simple leader. It's nice that the leaders in the beginning of the game are very nice and simple, and a lot better than Masters, where for Masters went in the first set, I don't think any leader drew on the front side. They held some effects, like might have had double strike or taking a life to gain critical or things like that. They never really drew, not until you awaken, so you tried to awaken as quick as possible. And there wasn't too much in terms of awakening. It was normally waiting for your opponent to attack, like with battle cards or leader. Whereas in this game, every leader draws on the front side, gaining advantage, and most of them still gain advantage on the front side, or they have critical, kind of deny resources on the front side, then gain draw on the back side. And it's very easy to ways to awaken, but green is one that lacks a little bit. Luckily, androids have the side where they've got more awakening. As we get into that. So that's the lead, and this is the alternative art as well. Like any alternative art, there's debate whether it's better to have the alternative art or the regular art for androids because they both look quite nice. But I prefer the alternative art because it comes with that foiling and even though there's not much of a background, this art still looks pretty tasty. So we're gonna get into the list, and unlike what we did with the last one, I normally we said we're gonna start with super combos. This deck has to start off with its only a main way of ramping for the Android side, which is the Dr. Giro's Lab. Now this is a weird one because with the Saiyan stuff, you've got a fair few cards you can ramp, and the main card you want to try and get is the same as Androids, being an extra card that's free cost. But there's some slight differences, like with the gigantic, what's it, Destructive Strength, it costs the same amount, so it's still a free cost extra card. Free energy, free Z energy, but it's a one-time use. No, not Z energy, sorry. It's free specific green energy. And with the gigantic, what's it? Not gigantic strength. No, it's destructive strength. With that card, it's free costs like this. It's instant use to get you that energy straight away, but it's a one-time use. And it's easier to search because it's just a Saiyan, and there's a card that can search for stray traits. But for the Android one, it's more consistent ramp, but it's very slow. It's a lot slower to get going because just like Destructive Strength, it also costs free. But as a filled card, means it stays on the board and can be used every turn, but it doesn't ramp straight away, and the energy is not useful straight away. So with the ramp for this, it's a fill card, so when you play it out, it stays in the battle area until you get rid of it, so it's removed, which is very hard to do in this game currently for fill cards, because there's only two of them. And it's basically 6 round of use over and over again, because its activate main is by paying 1 green, and switching this card to rest mode. If your leader is specifically Android 17, being just this leader currently, you have up to 1 card with Android and special traits from your drop to your energy. So it's very consistent ramp in the fact that it's ramping every turn. So every turn after this card is ramp on board, you can do it over and over again. But it doesn't ramp the first time you drop it. So the first time you drop it doesn't ramp you. It's the turn after it starts doing that. But it's consistent ramp, meaning every turn you're ramping, increasing it because you're using androids from your drop, and that could be very easy put there by you playing out things to get KO, discarding things. You can easily get the androids in drop by comboing at the very least. But it doesn't start straight away because when you play it, normally you're going to play it when you hit free energy. You're going to be slamming that down as soon as possible. But you need to pay an extra energy, so you technically need 4 energy to ramp, being free to play the card, and an energy to use the effect. So if you're going, once you get free energy, if you're slamming this down, you're not ramping there again, you're standing at free energy, or if you go in second, you're at 2 energy, waiting to a turn to pass so you can then start getting the ramp on. But once you do finally get on board and have it, it's then every turn go and ramp, and what it doesn't give you increase the amount of energy you've got to use the turn, it increases your overall energy. So say if the turn after you use it, so you paid 3 energy, played it out, next turn you charge, you go to 4. You got 4 energy, now you pay 1 and rest this to ramp in energy, you increase your overall energy from 4 to 5, but you still only have 4 energy to work with because one of them's been tapped to use this effect to bring out another energy in active mode. So you maintain the amount of energy you've got for the turn, but increase your overall energy in general, which can matter for cards that need a certain amount of energy, but not the overall. You don't get an extra energy to play more things or bigger things. When we play 4/4 copies, because this is the keystone to the deck, I mean you need to see this card to ramp. If you don't see this card, you're gonna have a hard time trying to actually play out your stuff. And with this deck, it's more of a deck. I guess more of the green deck can go wider, whereas the evergreen decks can go quite taller. So the ramp, and then we get the super combo, meaning we got 3 super combo. Well, sorry, 4 super combos, because like every deck's have super combo, and I've gone for a Yamcha for this one because it's more in theme, where like the androids kind of like attack and beat the crap out of Yamcha, so it feels more in theme from it. Whereas, and it doesn't really matter for androids really when it comes to ramp unless you're playing some of the Saiyan ramp, because like if you're not playing the Saiyan ramp, there's no synergy with the super combo. Whereas if you play the Saiyan ramp, some of the things like Turles and Vegeta, they ramp free cost a higher card from the drop, so you can do it that, or they're like Saiyans, which you can basically have some synergy with it. Whereas Yamcha, well actually no, it doesn't search for a Saiyan from much for. I just like Yamcha. That's really the only thing I could use to use it. But then once again, it's a super combo. You have 4 copies of them because they're good defensive super combos, meaning that you can combo defensively for 20k or offensive for 10k. So it helps when defending attacks. using less cards, using super combos. So make sure you always got 4. So when building Android, you want to make sure you got 4 of the Jero's Lab and 40 super combo. And another thing I forgot to go over with the Jero's Lab is that it's got the trait Android, like how the structure strength I was saying, it's got Android. But unfortunately for Androids, they do have a searcher, but it's not for Android cards. It's for Android 17 and 18. So it does have a searcher, but it's specifically for the characters Android 17 and Android 18, not for the trait Android. So this has less searching. It does have a card to kind of find it, but it's a card that has a small chance that is quite costly, and we didn't play that because if you play it out and then don't hit this, you've kind of wasted your entire turn and potentially made it easier to find it in the next turn, or just put a load of cards that you really want to the bottom of your deck, which is going to be hard to get again. So that's the main 2 things. You need your ramp, you need your super combos, then we go to some of the other cards. And we've got our cantrip Goku, so you're going to be running cantrip. May not be an Android, but still is a way to help filter for your deck to kind of help find your lab if you haven't opened with it and haven't managed to find it. And just basically use up your energy, you still dig for your deck so you can make sure you're finding it. So deck thinning is deck 1 if you've heard that term, and Goku does anything of that. And it's cantrip, meaning that when it comes down, it replaces itself in hand. Then we've got 4 copies of Android 20. This is our searcher, so like how Saiyans have the searcher to find Saiyan cards, we've got Android 20 here to find the Android 17 and 18 cards, because it's on play. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck to filter to one Android 17 or Android 18, and that's your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in the random order. Now, if you don't open with Jero's Lab, you might want to play this in the first few turns, because what it does is search for Android trait. It's specifically the character name Android 17 and Android 18. So if you play this early and don't have Jero's Lab, you'll see a Jero's Lab in those top 5. You're slamming that straight to the bottom of your deck, and you just screwed yourself over. So make sure, don't play this card until you've got your Jero's Lab, because you want to try and draw, and hopefully this is the top lot to try and find it, because Jero's Lab is the key. You need that to start your ramp, otherwise you're going to start kind of not really having a fun time. But this is very handy to find your Android 17 and 18, and there's a fair few cards of each. So we got 4 copies of this, because at least it's a combo as well. Then on to Android 17 and 18 cards, we've got the 4 copies of Android 18 SR. It's a very handy card. 2 costs, 20k. Very useful card, and it's got more of a benefit in this deck because where you got a consistent ramp to keep increasing it is also a nice way just to basically be a second leader, where it's coming down 2 costs, 20k. Draws a card if you got 6 or more energy when it attacks. But its on play is really useful in this because it helps set up for Jero's Lab. Because when you play it, you draw a card and discard a card from your hand. So if you draw a card, and if you've got an Android in hand that's like useless, or an Android in your hand, you can ditch that to put in the drop ready to use Jero's Lab. And the great thing is where Jero's Lab is an Android card itself, and it adds up to any card that's got Android and special traits to your ramp. If you've got extra copies of Jero's Lab, so using a load of them, you can use Android 18 here when you play it to draw a card, ditch the Android's spare copy of Android's Jero's Lab, and use Jero's Lab on board to then ramp that to your energy. So it's very handy. It's a very nice way to set up for Jero's Lab, making sure you've got targets if you don't have cards that you can't combo with, like the extra copies of the extra. So we have 4 copies of this because once you get 6 energy, it's just gaining you more cards, putting more pressure on, it allows you to go wide. So it has that benefit more over the evergreen decks, being able to go wide. Then we've got 4 copies of December Android 18. So we've got the free drop 20k. That's got 10k combos, so it's a bit more combo power. And it does have a nice little attack effect where when attacking, place 1 card from your energy in your drop, add up to 1 card from your hand to your energy. So this allows you to make use of energy. It's not the greatest effect because you're still charging a card from hand, meaning you're lessening the amount of cards you have in your hand to help like combo or play. But you are kind of helping with, also helping with the Jero's Lab. So it's once again 20k to help pressure Awaken leaders, and you can use it to help with Jero's Lab, where if you can play it out, play it, sack off a card from your energy to play a new card from your hand in your energy, and that energy comes in active mode, and now you've got an energy in active mode plus an Android. Hopefully you sack off your energy in your drop for Jero's Lab to go and ramp, so you can kind of use that to increase. It's not the greatest thing, but mainly it's there for the 10k combo, an Android 18 being an Android, and 20k attack. And the benefits of both these two is having this Android 17. Now, both Android 17 and Android 18 have a copy of this card, but I'm only playing the Android 17 because the Android 18s, there's better Android 18s for Android 17's version than there are for Android 17 targets for Android 18's version. because they both have the same effect, being that they're 4 costs or 20k power. So at least they can power, not the greatest power to cost, but they can at least power pressure awaken leaders. Only 5k combo, which is not too bad, but it's got on play where you can add it to one card from your left hand. I mean, you've got some awakening built into your pressure, and then you get to play it to one Android 18 with a cost of 3 or more, 3 or less when you drop. So that means if you got either of these two and you play them out and they get killed, you can bring them back, or you can discard them from like an effect or combo morph. They don't have targets for Android 870 to bring out. And the nice thing is that if you normally with this Android 18 here, the 2 cost, normally when it's on board, people try to always go against it to try and get rid of it because they don't want you to keep using the draw cards and gain more advantage. And if they do kill it and get rid of it, Android 17 can bring it straight back for free. And just like how in yellow, Mecha Freezer is a very nice one to bring out 9 energy worth of battle cards for 5. This brings up like 6 to 7 energy worth of battle cards for 4 energy. So you're getting good value for your cost. So you play 4 copies of this. And remember, these are all searchable by Android 20, so it's pretty handy to get consistently going. Next we have our SR, and this is another one I've seen people debate whether this can be searched because it's Android 17 / Android 18. But you gotta remember the slash is not there. Slash is basically just a divider, meaning this card is both Android 17 and Android 18, so it can be searched. It's not both. What is both? But the names are separate, so it's not Android 17 and 18. It's Android 17 and it's also Android 18. Now this is again, we got more copies of this because for one, this one's searchable with the Juro, so you can now find it a lot easier. So you got that double strike, but also you got more consistent ramp to make sure you keep getting the energy. So you got more, and also it's never Android. So at the very least, if you see them early, you can't use them. You can ditch them. Like you can go up to 4 copies of this. Actually, thinking about it, but it just lacks combo power. It's got 0, but it's at least a never target. It's a never Android target that's searchable for Android 20, and also a card that ramped from drop with Juro's Lab. Play 3 copies of this because it's just a fantastic card. Helps apply pressure after going wide with these ones, and then help the manage board without using swings into it. We'll keep going to lead. The next we've got 4 copies of Android 19. So this is once again never Android in the benefit that it's an Android for Juro's Lab. Is also a 10k combo, and also just like with the Android 18's SR, once you get 6 from energy, which is what you want to try and get to as quick as possible. Same with so in the lead and Android 20 here, 18. When you get 6 more energy, it's a good benefit where it's got a permanent where if you have 6 more energy, it gains extra 10k power, meaning that for 2 energy is a 25k once you get 6 energy, and that's really good. So it means that this is more of a green deck that allows you to go wide with like powerful things, but also playing out more things quickly because it's got ramp. It does ramp slower, but it's more consistent and it gets a big benefit. So you can have like 2 costs for a 25k. It's very good. Meaning at the very least your opponents have to combo out a 10k if you go on that lead, or 2 5ks. So that's really handy. You play 4 copies of it because once again, Android for ramp and good 10k combo at the very least. Then we start getting into some of the non-Android cards. We got Vegeta's one, play 3 copies of this because there's once again another card that can help you ramp. Like if you want to ramp quicker or have some board management. Vegeta's a very good one because not only is it 20k to pressure lead, it's also ramp that doesn't care if it's a Saiyan or Android, and also has a 10k combo to be helpful in that aspect, and also allows you to kind of deal with boards by setting up cards for Juro's Lab by using the activate main, which is discarding a card from your hand as a cost to pop something on your opponent's board as 2 or less to get those like cantrips, opposing under 18s, things like that, so pesky little cards on the board. We'll also set up cards for Juro's Lab. So you play 3 copies of this because it might not be the main thing you want, but it also can help you ramp and also set up Juro's Lab too. Then we've got 4 copies of Gohan. So as you go bigger on board, if you don't want to go wide and want to kind of manage board without get a bit of control going, go a bit slower. Gohan's a really nice one. Once again, being a 10k combo, being helpful in that aspect, but also being a 30k beat stick, and when it comes down being played on board, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards of cost of 5 or less, 4 or less, and KO it. Now we don't play the ramp Goku because there's not much benefit outside the Android 18 free drop to allow you to sack off energy, so we don't need that. So we got more space open for ever cards, and Gohan's just a really nice one, just nice little removal for things that you might want to get rid of without an attack into, and also providing a nice little beat stick. Then we've got some like higher end cards now. So we've got Android, we got the Son Gohan Childhood Secret Rare. Once again, we're expecting more of a green meta, so we don't want to have too many cards that aren't great against green. And while this Gohan Secret Rare is great against everything except green, we only want to play one for those matchups. So if you go against anything that's not green, this is going to be a very good one. And even though at one you might not see it often, it's better to have it in there where you can have one, where you'll see it if you need it, but not see it like multiple times consistently, where if you're going against green you don't want it. So you got one copy of it just because it's a great water weapon against anything that's not green. And then once again, 3 Brody BR. So we got more cards in our deck than the other ones that have 0 combo. But once again, we got consistent ramp. And we got more consistency flowing through. And at least with the Android SR, the double striker, the big boss card, that's at least got some synergy with Throw to be used as ramp. So you can ditch those early that have ramp and leave these ever 0 cost boss cards, 0 combo boss cards to be your main ways of finish. And where you don't have to sack off your energy for any things, you don't have to worry about going lower to 8. You can just keep increasing the energy. Even if you get 8, you can increase it more, so you can drop this plus other things and keep that power going. And where you don't ramp from also the nice thing about this deck is where you don't ramp from the top of your deck, there's no like randomization about potentially losing cards you don't want to lose. Whereas like with Saiyans, you can potentially ramp super combos of boss cards from the top of your deck due to the ramp in that. Whereas this you're ramping from drop consistently, so you don't have to worry about that, potentially losing cards you don't want to. So that's one nice thing. And the last card we got to help out is Gigantic Meteor. If you're noticing, there's a lot of cards, there's like at least now 4 cards, including this one, that require you to be at 6 more life to get a big benefit. So the aim is to get 6 energy as soon as possible, so that way you can get the benefit of this turn. Because this is just at any time is for 1 energy 15k boost, like battle trick. But if you get 6 or more energy, it's a 25k battle trick. Especially putting this on your secret rare, which you got more consistency in finding, or your lead after it's already got a boost, make it to a 55. It's pretty handy and really good defensively or offensively because it's got no like little thing to say if you don't need it in your turn. It's just your player's turn, which adds more flexibility to the card. So that is the list. So this is a little bit different because it's the mugs for more on androids, but it's like the benefits are that it's more consistent ramping, but the negatives are it's a bit slower ramping. Like it ramps slower, but it's more consistent and can go wider than the evergreen decks with more things, which is quite nice. So that's it. So feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you've got any comments about the list, any suggestions, any questions about some choices, or if you enjoy it, give it a like, and then subscribe if you want to keep updated with my videos. And that is it for the green deck. So next we'll move on to some new ones. I'm not sure if we go to red or blue. We'll see it when we come to it. So that's it from me today. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.